struggling, helping men, preaching, ministering. I mean, I got thousands of men following, and I couldn't reach my own son. It's a lot of brothers out here who can relate to that. And I was struggling to reach my own son. And what happened is, man, I had to listen to my wife. I had to make some adjustments. But you're saying self-care. How does a man with all this pressure on him, like to be a father and a husband, but like a lot of pressure, black man, right? How do I deal with this? How do I deal with all this pressure stuff? And so I'll tell you my number one self-care thing that got me through that.
Positive energy and good vibrations from me to you. You have now tuned in to the Imperfect Fathers Podcast.
Yo. Positive energy and good vibrations from me to you. It's your boy, RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman. And yes, this is another dope episode of the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. Yo, fellas, what's up, man?
What's going down?
What up? We here.
Yes, sir.
Here.
Mama, I made it.
Yeah, we in the building and we are live and ready to go, y'all. Listen, around this keto podcast, for those who do not know, we follow a protocol around here. We got to talk to the man upstairs and we got to pay our bills because that's what real men do. So with that being said, gracious and eternal Father, we thank you for another opportunity to be before you. We thank you for the opportunity to say thank you right now. We understand that life itself is precious and we understand that you are the giver of that life. So right now, God, we say thank you for all our gifts, all our things that we do, everything that we have, all of our responsibilities and our obligations. God, we're grateful for all those things. Right now, God, we actually look over us as we go across these airways that we may say something to inspire, motivate, and also encourage a man to be a better father, husband, and everything for his community. These things we do pray in the matchless name of the Most High, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. So around these podcasts, I have a phenomenal sponsor who's been around for years now. Those guys over at It's Now or Never Entertainment for all your music needs, whether it be hip hop, gospel, R&B, a little bit of country. One time I said that though. But listen.
What about rock and roll?
Hey, listen, honky tonk and all.
Marvin, you got that, didn't you?
He sound like he a capitalist. That's what it sounds like.
Whatever he needs, he got you. Whatever kind of music you need, he got you. But listen, for all you need, even a phenomenal producer who makes music for reels, short and long content. So if you need music for any of your content, go over and check them out. It's Now or Never Entertainment. And if you use the word imperfect at checkout, he'll give you 50% off on any beat in the beat store. 50, half off, guys. So shop smart, shop black, shop It's Now or Never Entertainment. Let them know we sent you from the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. Now that's out the way. Listen, y'all, I am excited as always. I got two phenomenal people on the platform. One you already seen, the gray-headed man to my left, to y'all right. My man Eric Harris is in the building. But tonight, my man, we got my brother, Dr. Myron Edmonds on the line. He's about to drop some fire with us, man. So stop what you're doing and give him a warm welcome. Welcome to the platform, King.
Yo, man, like I said, man, I got to call my mama and tell her I made it, man. Hey, man, listen, please call me Myron, man. Remove that doctor. I mean, I earned it. I mean, but listen, man, we just brothers in here, man. And I'm glad to be with you guys, man. Love what you're doing. And this, man, I feel at home already. That's right.
Oh, man, you are home. You are home, bro. And the reason I always give I put the doctor before the name because, like you said, you did earn it. I'd much rather let you do the honors of removing it in the conversation because anytime you put the time in to earn that title before your name, you deserve to be called by it, King. So I appreciate that, your humbleness as well, though, for allowing me to not have to call you doctor in this moment. So thank you, bro.
It's all good, bro. Hey, they say some people graduate magna cum laude, some people finish summa cum laude. I finished yes laude.
Hallelujah.
Hey, look, I don't claim nothing on it, man. I got by through grace, man. So, I tell people all the time, man, education should only just make you more of a student, man, instead of a teacher. And so I'm just a lifelong learner, man. And look, man, I'm glad to be here at the Imperfect. Man, dude, y'all done got my whole identity locked down in the name, the Imperfect. That's me, bro.
Oh, listen, you're now a brother for real. I told you, you're a brother, man. You are now Imperfect Father for real.
Yes, sir.
He's been indoctrinated.
That's the thing.
I'm
Listen, because honestly, this is what this platform is about, bro. We all imperfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not one of us on this earth who can even attempt to be. So I feel like this platform, just us fathers, just men, just to be able to come around and really, like I said before, let our heads down and just have a great conversation about some real topics, man.
Yes, sir.
And tonight I want to talk about the self-care of a father. Right? Like, how do fathers do that, bro? And and people who know me know that when I ask questions, and Eric's gonna laugh right now, when I start asking questions, it's not just for the stage of the platform. Majority of the time it's for me. So I'm right now, I'm going to pick you two
Hey,
gentlemen.
Myron, he's still in game.
He's still a
Another
game.
way to say still in game. Just I'm the interpreter tonight. That's my job tonight.
You good?
That's all
you
I'm
give it
doing.
real.
Like I'm just laying back, and then when he say something, then I come in with the caption. Still in game.
He the caption. He the
Yo.
caption.
Yeah, I'm not. That's a part of my game, right? I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. The reason I do these podcasts is just to get the word out, but it's also to feed my spirit too, bro. What people don't realize is when the lights is off and these cameras are not on, it's real in here. You know what I'm saying?
He said something though, man. I was the other day I was doing something with my guy Eric Thomas, and we were doing some stuff with men, and he made a really good point. He was talking about, he was like, man, what is Oprah known for? And we were sitting around saying, I can't figure out what Oprah's known for. He said, I'll tell you what Oprah's known for. Oprah's known for interviewing people who are subject matter experts. Oprah is not a subject matter, but she became a subject matter expert,
right?
Because all she did was interview for years subject matter experts.
Wow.
So now we want Oprah to tell us about everything. We want us to know what books to read, what food to eat. You know what I'm saying? Because she was a student, it made her an expert. So, he know what he doing.
Hey, so you saying he's the imperfect Oprah now?
I got a big head already. I better not do that now.
Hey, shoot, we got a space for it. You know, we had Arsenio back in the day. Then we got Steve Harvey. There's always room for another brother to have his own spot in this market. Come on with it.
I'm coming.
Myron, please stop. This dude already unbearable. Now you just come on, man. Come on, man. I got to deal with this dude after you leave, bro.
Yo, man, I'm just excited, man, because we don't realize for real, y'all, what we're doing. I was just telling my brother this other day, because he asked me, he's like, yo, bro, I don't understand this whole podcast thing. And I said, bro, I'm not really doing it for the glitz and the glamour. I'm doing it for one reason and one reason only. My children are going to be able to watch this. When I'm no longer here, my great grands are going to be able to see me. I didn't get a chance to see my great grandfather. I didn't get a chance to hear his voice, his presence. And my great grands will be able to turn their YouTube on, God willing, it's still YouTube, and see this and be able to feel the presence of their great grandfather.
For posterity. Yeah. Let me say something though, man. This subject to me is a good one. I think we can all really learn from each other on this, because let's just face it, fatherhood. I'm actually, honestly, I'm debating right now. What's harder, marriage or parenting? Right? What's more difficult? It's a toss up. It depends on the day,
right? Or the hour.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much I've talked about it on my social media, but I have a men's group and I spend a lot of time with these brothers. And one of the things I talk often about, man, is just how difficult it was for me. And I'm specifically talking about raising a son. I thought that, every dude, to some extent wants a son, right? And then, I thought that it was going to be easier because we just automatically had natural affinities and connections. Like, he's in the sports, I'm in the sports. We're in the action movies, he's in the action movie. We like it's just guy stuff, right? But man, we've been bumping heads a whole lot lately, man. You talking about being transparent and real, man. Just he was home recently for break. And man, we were bumping heads. And a lot of it, man, stems from my past. I have a great father. I'm one of them unicorns. I'm actually one black brother who was raised with his father. My dad was a good man, but he and my mom got divorced. It was an ugly divorce, and me and my father, kind of our relationship disintegrated. So we had to repair that relationship. However, when it comes to my son, what I was trying to do is, I think my default setting was, I'm going to raise him the way I was raised. I felt my dad did a good job. And I felt like my wife would interfere a lot, just to be honest with you. I felt my wife was making him soft. I would be trying to deal with him on some man stuff. And I really felt like my wife thought I was being too hard on him. And so she would intervene. And honestly, you know, what does a man not like? He don't like, you can do anything to a man, but don't publicly disrespect him or make him feel like he's disrespected. So I was really super sensitive to that, because my mom was very domineering and disrespectful to my father. Now, my wife wasn't disrespectful. It's just that I was real sensitive. I'm just like, you're going to check me after I whoop his behind, right? I ain't going to go too far. Like, I ain't going to kill him. Well, you know what I'm saying? Not
you may come close.
I might come real close.
You might get him to within an inch of death, but you're not going to kill him.
That's a little bit, you know, there's the story in the Bible about the Good Samaritan, and they said that, what did the text say? It says something like they killed him and he was nearly dead. Like, I mean, yeah, I felt like that. But no, honestly, the thing for me is I'm trying to raise a man. And what I was trying to explain to my wife is I'm trying to raise a black man, and I'm trying to raise a man who can handle a woman like you. And I'm just
wait
like,
a minute. Can you say that again? Please?
Well,
we can't just skate over that. That was powerful right there.
I'm saying I felt like my wife was softening him, and I'm just like, if we keep doing this, then how will he be able to handle somebody like you? What made me be able to, marry somebody like you and have a great marriage, being married now for 21 years, I was like, because I have what's inside of me to be able to manage a strong black woman like you. I was like, if we keep doing this to him, we can't. Now, here's what I have to confess, and this goes back to your point. Now, shut up. I was trying to replicate for my son what was done for me. And listen, I just have to confess, that ain't the way we supposed to do it, fellas.
No.
We're all different.
Right.
And he's rapped differently than I was. And here's the truth. I was losing my son. If it wasn't for my wife, I'd have lost my son, because my son does not respond well to that disciplinarian type of, you can provide discipline without being a disciplinarian, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Well, my son needed something different. So I say all to say this. I was floundering, man, struggling, helping men, preaching, ministering. I mean, I got thousands of men following, and I couldn't reach my own son. It's a lot of brothers out here who can relate to that. And I was struggling to reach my own son. And what happened man, I had to listen to my wife. I had to make some adjustments. But you're saying self-care. How does a man with all this pressure on him, like to be a father and a husband, but like a lot of pressure, black man, right? How do I deal with this? How do I deal with all this pressure stuff? And so I'll tell you, my number one self-care thing that got me through that, community, bro. I got an accountability group of brothers that I check in. I got a mentor on parenting that I check in with. And for me, if I don't have community, that means I'm all on my own, and that means I'm gonna F up. I am.
Right.
I'm going to. And so I got a list of stuff, but first and foremost, every man on here does not need to be running his house without him in submission to some other man. And I'm saying that's a hard pill to swallow, E, because
heavy.
You know, the independent, strong man in us, we don't like to, and especially if you didn't have a father in the home, it's like, I ain't even used to this.
Right.
But what I'm telling you is you are safer. Your wife is safer. Your kids are safer with a man who is in submission. He does not need to be the sole final decision on everything in his life, because you shouldn't trust you. I'd have lost my son if I didn't have my guys, if I didn't have mentors speaking into my life, saying, dude, that ain't it. So I'll leave it there, man. But I'm saying if we're going to self-care this thing first and foremost, there needs to be accountability for fatherhood. You cannot do fatherhood independent of community. You can't. And when we was in Africa, we wasn't doing that. That's all this Eurocentrism stuff, man. It's this white mentality of individualism. Would stay out of my business. When we back in the day, real talk, we could get whooped by the whole neighborhood. Now I don't trust the neighborhood no more now because a lot of these cats is crazy. But what my point is that there should be leading by committee.
Yes.
You know, running backs, you know, NFL, gone are the days with the Emmitt Smith and the Barry Sanders. What are we doing now? We running back by committee. We get more mileage in the league when we running back by committee. I'm saying we got to do fatherhood by committee. I need you, Eric. I need you, RJ. We got to be sharpening iron on this thing because it's too much for us. I said it. Fatherhood is too much for us by ourselves.
Way too much. Yeah. Yo, I am so glad that you are on this platform tonight because Eric knows I love nothing more than to be able to peel this onion back and talk about what's really behind this thing, man. Yo, you just sat here and said that without the help of the men around you, first of all, that takes being humble, being vulnerable, and being transparent. The three things that most of us men either do not want to do, right, or don't know how to do because it was never modeled.
Yeah.
Think about that. And then you said something also too, bro, that really struck home with me because I got a 4-year-old that's turning 5, and I'm from the old school like you, bro. Tough it up. Let's go. Let's get it. I don't care what you say. It's time to do what I told you to do. Boom, 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 boom. And like I was just telling you earlier, I just realized in the last week that he don't respond to that well.
Right.
I'm sitting there, and what's so crazy is that the truth of the matter is, bro, if you think back to when we was growing up, it didn't really work for us either.
That's facts.
We're trying to portray something as if though it worked for us. Think about that. When you were young and somebody was talking to you that way, you didn't like it. It made you feel less. It didn't make you feel like you was equal, like you was even a person. It made you feel like you was lower than somebody talking at you rather than to you. I'm just not even on a level talking, right? My son is obviously short. He's 4. When I need to get a point across, I recognize that he should not be having to do this when I'm getting the point across. I got to come down to where he's at and have a conversation on his level, not just on his mental level, but on his plane. So he understands that, yo, I'm not talking at you, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And I think that we don't realize that like the old school stuff, it got us through because we was in survival mode. Our parents was just trying to get by. Our moms and dads was just trying to figure it out the same way we are. But we're blessed now with more information. We're blessed now with, watch this. We're blessed now with not having the same pride our granddaddies did. Because think about this right now. Your father and grandfather wasn't having these conversations.
Oh, absolutely not.
They was too busy trying to be the man, be hard. They was so busy trying to keep up a facade that they never took time to see about themselves. So if you imagine right now, we had an opportunity to go back, talk to our grandfathers and ask them, what was your self-care regimen, Grandpa?
Come on, man. Drink. It was getting drunk. It was going to the bar.
And women.
Yeah.
Yo, E, you got something that I always love to reach on, especially in these kind of conversations, bro. You have the 3 generations in one room. You have 3 generations that you see on a regular basis. E, like, how do you find self-care amongst that? Like, how do you place that?
That's good.
So before I say anything, I want to back up what Myron said with just the scripture. It says, the way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult. An honest witness tells the truth, but the false witness tells lies. so many times we insulate ourselves and think that we're so right and we're so macho and machismo and we know everything
Right.
that it's hard for us to hear anything from anyone else, especially the woman that is sitting next to us.
Come on, sir.
And by the way, they were called to help what?
Come on,
Made.
sir. Mhm, mhm,
But then
Yeah,
we don't even let her help.
mhm.
but
So,
how can we?
so
How
think
we do
about
that?
it. Right. So think about it. And so now I say that to lean into what you said about the three generations. Actually, I was blessed enough to experience four because
That's right.
my grandfather lived a very long life, and I spent a lot of time with him in Coffeeville, Mississippi. Yes, there's a such place named Coffeeville,
Come
Mississippi.
on now. Everybody from
And
Chicago, everybody in Chicago from Mississippi or Alabama, man.
come on, man. If they not, they from Mars or something, because you already know, man. It's a lot of country people in
Deep
Chicago, but
roots.
man, it's and the thing about it is my grandfather only showed me the strong side of a man. He showed me how to
Mm.
work.
Yeah, come on,
He
man.
showed me how to provide.
Hmm.
He showed me how to look. He had an Impala, brand new back then, and he
Brown
would
and clean.
get us all dressed, and he would be dope, dab on, cold outfit. So I'm looking at him. I'm like, that's the way. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And my grandmother's name was Eileen, and he would say, "Come on, Eileen, let's get in this car." So he talking to her like that, and then he talked to me, "Hey, boy, get in this car." So I'm like, now I'm shook a little bit at first because I'm like, okay, this is different, but yo, he the man, so I'm gonna do whatever he say. So as I grew up, I started to model and mirror everything that man did. I
Wow.
tried to dress like him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I
Mm-hmm.
spoke like him.
Yeah.
Look, if I showed you a picture of him right now, my hair and my beard is great, just like his. So everything in my life was like him. And as I modeled that, not only mentored with my mouth, but modeled with my actions to my boys, I was losing them just like you were, Myron.
Mm.
And I got three boys,
Come on, man.
three different personalities,
Hmm.
three different dudes in the house. And I
Hmm.
was trying to do all of them the same. Hey man, get your butt over there and sit down. What you doing, man? Where you going? Why you on the phone after 9? And I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't listen. And my relationship with all of my boys was fractured. I remember a pastor told me a long time ago that there's a such thing as the father fracture. And he broke down how that affects both men and women.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The father fracture is, and it's not a break, but we all know if you play sports, if you know anything about sports, a fracture is much worse than a break.
Yes, it is.
Hmm.
Because a break, you can deal with it, you can wrap it up
Hmm.
and say, let's heal it. But a fracture, you can kind of limp with it and you can get through it. But then with the absence of a father or a father that is there, that is not fatherly,
Mm.
it's a father fracture. And I was that dude. I was that dude. Now, what woke me up is community.
Mm.
I had some brothers pull me aside and say, hey, man, what's up with your boys? And I'm like, you know me, I'm giving that same old answer all brothers do. Oh, they good.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? They having little problems here and there. You know what I'm saying? You got to tighten them up. You know what I mean? I got to keep the household straight, this and that. And they just said, one of my boys said, bruh, you losing them.
Mm.
Now
Come on,
remember,
sir.
I'm raising them in Chicago, by the way. South side of Chicago, by the way. They went to Simeon High School, 83rd. Come on. 83rd State, that's where we lived. Now I'm in there doing them like this, and all of a sudden I start seeing them stay out a little bit later.
Mhm.
I start seeing them doing stuff like, you know what I'm saying? I see them outside with some dudes I don't like. I saw one hitting some weed one time. I'm like, of course I snap every time. What the?
Yep. Yep.
I beat
Yep.
you. I'ma kick yo. And that dude pulled me to the side. He said, dude, you pushing them further away. Have you ever asked them what's going on in their life? Have you ever
Mm-hmm.
asked them what they're thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever asked them how they feel?
Mm.
Wait, Eric, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you can remember as a child somebody asking you how you felt as a man?
Oh, I never had that. That never happened.
My point exactly.
It was either boy, get your butt over there.
Right.
It was either you gonna be all right. It's either boy, stop all that crying, straighten up, go over there and do what you need to do. So listen, from that point on, that's when I started developing individual relationships with each one of them,
Come on, sir.
which means that was work.
Yes. Investment.
That was work.
Mhm.
And a lot of times as men, we think the work that we do is to go to work, get our paycheck, and bring it home, and that's enough.
That's your job.
That ain't
Your work.
yeah,
Your work starts after 5. Yeah.
come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's just a job. That
Yeah.
ain't the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when I started the work, man. That's when I started the work. So over the years, I have developed great relationships with all three of my boys. They're amazing. I love them. And also, I was able to develop my relationship with my father as well because, get
Mhm.
this, the fracture is not fixed if I just go down with it and just fix what I did with my sons.
Ooh.
But as black men, we
Mhm.
often have to fix what is above us as well, which is our
Mhm.
relationship with our fathers and our elders.
Mhm.
By the way, that works financially too. We can get into that on another episode because
Yeah,
usually we got
boy.
to help
Yeah.
our kids
Yeah.
and we got to help our parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll talk about
100%.
that later. We'll talk
100%.
about that later. But now, after I started really understanding what my father was going through, because then I understood my grandfather. And then from then, man, I really understood what legacy was
Mm.
and how to truly build it. Not build something that's shaky on a shaky foundation or build something that's going to crumble and fall, but build something that's going to last. And that's when I wound up doing all the things that I did, the documentary with all of them. And now just about all of them live in Houston. My
Mm.
brother, my dad, my oldest son, and I'm trying to get my other two down here. So you see what I mean? Like I had to really shift my thinking, man. And it took one brother who wasn't scared of this 6'6" dude and was like, bruh, you tripping.
Mm.
You about to lose him to these streets because you trying to be hard. You think being hard is the thing that's going to keep him out the streets, but really that's the thing that's going to push him out there. You opening the door for them to go out there.
Mm.
Like we think we're holding them, but we're really pushing.
Bruh.
That's
That
crazy. That's
think
scary.
about it. If the streets are hard and then they come home and your home is hard, what's the difference?
What's the difference?
Mm.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
difference? If there's no love in your house
Yeah.
to combat the streets, what's the difference?
Yeah.
And think about why we go there.
Matter of fact, they get more love in the streets.
I was just about to say that. I'm like,
Oh,
think
They get
about
more
why
love in
we
the
go
streets
there.
because they say, "Hey, you understand me?
Exactly.
You get me?"
Exactly.
Now we circling
Mm.
all the way back to self care. That work was the beginning of my self care, man, because I had to realize number one, I had to read and build myself up and understand all the things that I did. Self care ain't just going to get a pedicure.
Come on,
Oh man,
sir.
I got my feet done, dog. I'm
Man, let's see
good.
what's
You know
that,
what I'm
man. Yeah.
saying?
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
But
Come
it
on.
was more so about what I started putting inside myself, what I started
Yeah.
understanding about myself, my family. And then that was self care because look, if you do anything for your sons, gentlemen, you're doing something for yourself. Believe
Mm.
that.
Facts.
Believe that.
Facts.
Because it's hey man, Akuna Matata.
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's like the realest thing
Yes, sir.
Disney ever did.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yo,
that circle of life. So
when I
yeah,
tell
man.
you,
So that's what's up.
Eric, you hit.
Yeah, he hit some good stuff there,
I'm
boy.
telling you, because
Yeah.
right now, I'm listening to you two gentlemen, and I always think of things in sports. So right now, you two are the veterans in the game. So I'm coming off the bench, and I'm just wet behind the ears. Like I'm new in the game, and I hear you guys talk about communicating with your sons. And one thing I wanted to double back on too, Myron, you spoke about the woman in your life not letting you father the way you felt you should father. Now, that's something that happens in so many of the men that I coach in their lives. Honestly, that's one of the biggest fights that I hear about more than sex and money. It's because, and we spoke about this a while ago on the podcast, is that what a woman doesn't understand is that, like you said in your statement, I have to raise him to be able to deal with someone like you. I have to raise him to be able to deal with the nonsense that 2022 and beyond is going to create in the women that my little boy is going to date at some point. And I have to learn it, even in my situation, like you said, your mom was very dominant, and my mom is queen dominant. Like I tell everybody, my stepfather, God bless him, I don't know how he did it, because
My mom too.
on
My
my
mom
soul,
too.
I don't
No joke.
put no hands on women, but my mother would. If I was her husband, I probably would have choked her out a few times because she's just that dominant. You know what I'm saying? So I came into my marriage that I'm in currently with the thought of she's supposed to be like my mother. So when the kids are going crazy and I'm gonna tell your father, I'm looking at her like, what's wrong with you? Tighten up, handle your business. And she's like, well, I'm not from that. Like, that's your job. I'm saying to myself, well, if it's my job, how is that possible? Because in my mind, the woman is supposed to be as dominant as my mother was. And that's, I put on weight on her shoulder that she should not be carrying. And then it caused her to lash back at me when I'm the one to take my rightful spot. Now, when things are hectic and I want to yell, and now I want to come in the room and throw my power around. But the truth of the matter is, all this time I was throwing it off on her. So how can I expect her not to want to interject when I need to correct my son the right way? So I had to remove my expectations off of her and realize like I'm not dealing with my mother, I'm dealing with my wife. And for me, that changed the relationship of everyone in the house, because I now realize like, her background wasn't screaming. And that's the reason why I love her. Right. That's what I fell in love with.
That's dope, Rod.
I fell in love with that side of her. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in the haste of us creating this family and life spinning, I lost track of that. But I also realized that our job as men is to always be in that rightful position. Because here we go back to sports. If you're on a basketball court and I want to post up and Eric's on the block, what's going to happen? We're going to have congestion. The play's going to blow up. It's going to be a turnover. But if I'm on top in the key and Eric's on the block, all I got to do is say, come up, give me a pick, change positions, and now I'm in my rightful spot, and so is Eric.
Spacing, baby. Hey, can I say something though? Because you just threw me a oop.
Let's go, dunk it, baby.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna catch that finger on that thing. Hey, I don't got that bounce. I don't got them knees. But no, seriously, man. And I was thinking about this when E was talking, and then you just said something here, man. This is some good stuff, man. That's being dropped. I hope all the brothers that's watching this right now, y'all need to subscribe to this podcast because this is some phenomenal content. But let me say this. Just like in sports, one of the things, you're training your kids to play ball, and you see a lot of bad AAU basketball. I don't know if y'all see this. There's a lot and we look in the league now, and we say, where are the Dukes? Where's the North Carolinas? Where are these players that have learned fundamentals? Where are your Tim Duncans? Even Jordan was fundamentally sound. You already know that. He was just fundamentally sound. And that came from, that didn't come from high school. That came from a system that taught fundamentals, right? So even though Jordan played, like my dad would say, he was being fancy, but Jordan was very fundamentally sound. Look at his footwork.
Yes.
Look the fact that he can go left or right. He's really unguardable. I want to say this, man. I think a lot of men are guardable. We just guardable. We self-check. Let me tell you why we self-check. Because we don't possess both a left hand and a right hand. Meaning we've been taught a dominant way of manhood, which by extension means a dominant way of fathering. What happens is we just, and this is what E was saying, we haven't developed the left. We haven't developed our offhand.
Exactly.
We've been playing. And so what am I talking about? I'm talking about, and I love what y'all said earlier. Manhood is the smallest part of manhood is providing.
Yes.
And I'd even say, as a matter of fact, if you want to take this even a step further, you can say, okay, providing is fatherhood, but the smallest part of that providing is money and a roof over your head. We're supposed to be providing spiritual direction, emotional direction. We're supposed to be providing guidance in terms of mental health, confidence, courage, character, integrity. I was talking to a brother the other day, and he was like, yeah, and made a good point. His wife is a physician. He's a stay-at-home dad because he's an electrician. He's got his own business. She makes more money. And he said one of his dudes was trying to shame him because, you know what I'm saying, he don't make as much money as his woman. And so therefore he couldn't really be the man. He said, man, I provide way more. He said, man, some of y'all so poor, all you got is money. He said, that's all you got. He says, if all you're bringing to the table, and that's what you were saying, our old school generation, God, thank God, and I'm going to pause right now because I'm always in gratitude. I thank God for those men. Those men endured some stuff that we don't have to endure. We're standing on their shoulders. Amen. I don't believe in the GOAT. I believe in the GOTE, the greatest of their era. I am living somebody else's legacy. Having said that, they did not have a left. No, they didn't have the left. And so now that we know better, we got to do better. And what I want to call and encourage fathers to do that is watching this is we got to develop our emotional connectedness, our ability to communicate our feelings. We have to. This is what separates a dad from a father. When I look at case in point, here's a question I had to start asking myself. How are my children experiencing me? What kind of experience? Honestly, man, you know, my main responsibility is to create experiences. That's my main responsibility as a father, because nobody counts moments. I mean, nobody counts days, hours, and weeks and paychecks. Our experience with our kids is the sum total of the experiences that we have created. I saw something on social media the other day. A guy was asking a brother. He said, "Listen," he said, "your father." He says, "How many more years you got left with your father?" He said, you know, he's 80 years old and he's in good health, but maybe at most I got 5 more years left. He said, "Well, how many times do you see your father a year?" He said, "I see him twice a year." He said, "So really, you got 10 more opportunities with your father. 10 more experience. You don't got 5 more years. You got 10 more experiences." When I talk to my kids don't talk about stuff I bought them, and what they talk about is the Disney cruise when we was broke and we took those kids there and we created an experience. They talk about, my daughter talks about when I baptized her. They talk about the times we laughed and we stayed up in their room and did sleepovers in their room. 2 grown people laying on the bed, watching movies and popcorn. They remember experiences. And so I started having to ask myself, fellas, how does it feel to experience me as a father? And I look at the word and I see this word Abba Father, right? Christ always wanted to be with his father. He always wanted to be with him. And I'm just like, I'm not trying to be a Disney dad, a sugar dad, right? So I'm always fun. I'm not trying to be like, you know what I'm saying, take away the discipline. But what I'm saying is that many of us don't know how to create an experience. We only know how to give them things. Mm-hmm. And our definition of discipline is anger. But we're not teaching nothing. We're not teaching nothing. We're not teaching real discipline, real integrity. And so I'll say this in closing on this point. That's why for me, I've got to be totally transparent with my son and my daughter.
Got to.
100%. Well, God kind of helped it out because my kids busted me with pornography when I was addicted to pornography. So I had no choice. I got busted. So I had no choice.
The covers got pulled off.
Yeah, I had to tell them the whole truth. I had to tell them the whole about where I was. And so every time I get my son in the car, bro, I'm like, you know that chick wants you to hit it. Like I'm just you know that, right? Like listen, bro. Back in the day, we ain't see porn or anything like till we was like saw a magazine. You know what I'm saying? You had to go,
Right.
you had to go out of your
Right.
way. Even the sisters, bro, you had to go out with. I mean, she had to be super thick or whatever to even see some behind. Now they got leggings, bro. And listen, my son, I'm just like, dude, and you got Instagram models. I'm like, look, I've got no time to waste with you. I keep sit 100 with him since he was 8 years old. Every time I get him in the car, I'm looking for a way to build. Every time I get him alone, I'm trying to build. Why? Because it's the experiences that I'm creating. I got to develop the left.
Yeah.
All I'm going to create is a one-dimensional man.
Yeah. So listen though. This is what's so dope about all of this, and that's so powerful. But I gotta say this, and I'm just gonna say this one simple statement, and that's how we do. So this is how we have self-care. Because if you do everything you just said, how you think that's gonna affect you as a father, as a man? See, self-care ain't always, oh, I need to go and just be by myself and sit in the park and watch the ducks. Or I just need to, ride my bike, or I need to. No. When you do
that's
these
good.
things that we're talking about.
It's development. It's developing yourself as a father. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's self-care. But also think of this. The age-old thing of seed time and harvest. You sowing that seed. So what happens as you get older, they get older, and the relationship that you have. Now it's not a talking to, but it's a conversation. It's an exchange. It's now you're my friend. Now your son is your friend. Like you talking, like how you talking to him. You talking to him. Hey, dude, what's up with this? It's an exchange. But if we stay on that hard discipline, you do what I say, this and that. Look, man, I know dudes where they have relationships with their sons, and their sons are 40 years old, and they still see their father as that discipline and disciplinarian.
Wow.
Coming like, yes, sir. No, I'm like, dude, you're 40.
No relationship.
You can't just say, Dad, what's up? Like, Dad. I'm like, it blew my mind. But that's what happens if you don't do that. So imagine that cold, hard, callous heart that you'll have when you don't have your kids sowing back into you because you never planted that seed in the first place. The same thing that happened to us, now we're passing it on. Generational curse. Generational curse. We're passing the same thing. But you know what? What we're talking about is a total different thing. Working on yourself, right? So that then you can sow the proper seed, give them the right teaching, give them the right discipline, show them the right things. So now it flourishes, it helps you, and it blesses your entire family. Not only your entire family, but everybody that's in their circle, everybody that's in their circumstance gets blessed because you did what you needed to do as a father.
Yeah.
Yo, fellas, y'all sitting here and filling my belly up tonight. Because what's happening right now, as you guys know, is like I eat. I'm eating right now. But as you guys are talking, I realize that the both of you have escaped something that I've just found out not too long ago that I was in prison to, which is emotional incarceration. So shout out to the brother Jason Wilson. He wrote a book called Battle Cry.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, if you don't have that book, go get it. And I heard you two gentlemen talk, and especially just now, you said, Myron, that you had to tell your sons about porno, that you was wrapped up in porno and you had to expose yourself in that way. My question to you fellas is, how did you guys as Black men escape that emotional incarceration? Because from where you are now and the relationships you have with your children and your off seeds, that you had to come out of that emotional incarceration to be where you are now. So my question to you two gentlemen is, how did you remove yourself from that emotional incarceration?
I got a simple answer. Simple answer is therapy. Therapy Number one, and accountability communities, the right people. A lot of guys have got people around them, but not guys who are emotionally intelligent. But so it worked like this. I had emotionally intelligent friends, mentors, men of God, senior leaders who, could give me feedback, mentors. They direct me, said, you need to get help. So I went to go see a therapist, and that's been a great experience. And I'll tell you why this is relevant. It's relevant because we're talking about self-care, but what is the opposite of self-care? It's self-medication. And I think that is what the majority of men are used to doing. And so
Yes.
this is back to Eric's point. What we call self-care is really self-medication. It's the avoidance. It's the avoidance of being emotionally
trying to get away from it.
Yeah. It's not dealing with it. It's trying to get away from it. So I'm with the motorcycle club. I get into the video games. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the pool house. I'm at the bar. You know what I'm saying? I'm fooling with women. It's sports, fantasy football. Whatever it is that we use as an escape.
Right.
And so I ain't trying to escape. I'm trying to enter in the belly of the beast, to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, so that his goodness and mercy will follow me. I'm trying to get healing. And I think a lot of brothers are self-medicating and calling it self-care when it's not.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
That's powerful. And I'm gonna add one more thing to that. To both of the things you said were amazing. Also, I just paid attention to the signs. God will always give you signs, but you know what? We so knuckleheaded and we are so stubborn and egotistical, and I'm gonna have it my way, and you don't tell me what to do.
Speak for yourself, man. I ain't stubborn, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, dude, look, your neck. It was hard for you to turn your neck just then. You couldn't even turn your neck just then.
I couldn't even turn my neck just then, man.
But the signs, just pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
Because, God loves us enough. He gives us warnings, I swear. Guys, warnings are always there. Every time you got your butt in trouble, somebody was there like, bro, you sure you want to do that?
Every time.
Or something was there to like a sign or something like, and you had to really work hard to mess up.
Right.
So it's the same thing with our kids, man. Like there's always signs. But what happens is, think about it. Sometimes we rationalize some garbage that's crazy. Well, he was crying, but you know what? He still was wrong, so I still got to check him. What? What? Like literally, I've heard people say that. Like, bro, like you ain't asked your son what was wrong with him? No, he just went off on the teacher, and I'm just gonna snap on, because he just can't be disrespectful. He been disrespectful at the crib. So I don't care about it. That crying is just crocodile tears.
Man, bro.
Come
on, E.
I know y'all didn't like. I'm like, bro, what is you like, bro? Peel back the onion.
Y'all choosing violence tonight, boy. Shots being fired in here.
Bible, you know what I'm talking about. You didn't hear me say that old crazy garbage. That's crazy.
Saturday night, I told you, man. I missed it. Spirit of God was trying to speak to me. And short story is, my son moved to a couple schools because he's playing sports, and he got injured anyway. And he thought his dream was over. Dude, this dude, he cried like I have not seen him cry. Because we kept pressuring him to talk. These kids sometimes, especially teenagers, it's not always disrespect. That's what I want to say. E.
Yes.
RJ, it wasn't disrespect. I saw it as disrespect because I let my ego get in the way. It was not disrespect.
Come on.
It was, I don't know how to communicate because I'm 17 and my brain's still developing. I don't know how.
Articulation.
Thankfully, with the help of my wife, man, we were up to about 1:00 in the morning, just wrestling, building with him. And man, he finally was able to articulate it. And man, when I saw it, the thing broke me, man, to see him hurting the way he was hurting. And he could not express it. And I felt like a fool, E, because I was saying to myself, man, here I am thinking he's being disrespectful. When the truth is, he just didn't know how to articulate himself. Bro.
See what I'm saying?
What did that make you feel like, bro?
Yo, it made me realize that there's
Mhm.
always more to it than my initial perception.
Come on, man.
And I'm not always right. It's not always
Mhm.
I know better because I'm the adult. It's not always that. It's
Mhm.
that human beings are complicated. And typically, behavior is a sign of something deeper, Eric. That's what I heard you say. It's always
Always.
go
Always.
deeper, go deeper, go deeper.
Look, don't ever there was a wise man that told me, don't always look at what a person does, but look at why they did it.
Come on. We lazy,
So
y'all.
simple. So
We
simple.
lazy. We emotionally
Why'd
lazy.
you do that? Get over there, sit down. Come here
Mm-hmm.
for a second. Your son, RJ, he does certain things. Instead of saying, boy, I'm getting tired of you, boy, you better sit your butt down. Come here, son. Come here. Let me talk to you. What's going on? Those simple things that
Yeah.
you don't even got to say too much more and really mean it and kneel down like you said. That's powerful, man. As a child. Now, what if you do that from that age on up? What happens?
Beautiful.
Now they're trained in the way they should go. That's what the word
Yeah.
says. Be
Yeah.
trained in the way that you should go. But what do we do oftentimes? And I did this. I'm just going to be honest. I did this. I didn't train them that way. And I, for a while, trained them in that. And it took a lot of work for me to peel that back. Man, it's like I had to put some healing balm. Like I had to peel back. Oh, a bruise. I caused that. Healing balm on it. Put some healing balm on it. Peel back some more.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's really nasty. That was
Yeah.
almost infected. Let me ease and just minister to him there. Serve him.
Yeah.
Minister.
Sir.
Peel it. And now as you go deeper and deeper, now that young man, that young woman, now their soul is opening up and they're really realizing that, man, I ain't got to be like this. And like what you said, the story about when you got caught with the porn, man, guess what? That's powerful because they saw you, you were contrite, you apologized, like, man, what am I doing? I'm human, all of this stuff. You peel some layers back. Now, whatever wounds they had, you put that healing balm on there. Now they good.
Woo.
Now they good.
Come on,
Now this is
sir.
something they ain't got to pass on.
Yes, sir.
Man,
It's dealt with. It's done.
Cycle
We moving
broken.
on.
completely.
The cycle is broken.
Yo, E, and man, I'm as you were sitting here just talking, bro. I got checked, and I felt God check me just now. So as we close out, I just want to let you guys know where I feel convicted at and how God just checked me. So you know how we spoke about generational curses earlier. My daughter, when she was born, that she's my firstborn. So you know, I'm trying to be this complete dad and authority figure and all of these things, and trying to be like my mom was to me, but the man version. And come to find out, I was doing just exactly as she did, and traumatized my daughter just as my mother traumatized me. What happened was, my daughter, when she was first born, she had fluid in the back of her ears. So she had a constant flow of water in her ears. So when she was getting older and began learning how to use her vocabulary and talk, she would only say words with W, like water, what, wow, because all she heard was boo, 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 boo. But before I was able to
Come on, man.
realize that there was something wrong with my baby,
Mm.
I was yelling at her.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Do you hear me calling you? I know you hear me calling you. Stop defying me.
Mm.
And I asked you, Myron, how did that make you feel when you realized your son was hurting? Because I felt like shit, bro.
Yeah.
When I found out that my daughter could not hear me, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mother told me something that really, really hurt me, but made me understand why I am the way I am. Because when I was around the same age, I had the same problem with my ears. And I was sitting down one day watching television. And she called my name. And you know a black mother, if she calls your name more than once, it's hell to pay. She called my name and I didn't respond to her. I kept my head forward. And she literally slapped me from one side of my head to the other side. She said it broke her in a million pieces just to hear me say what I said, because she realized she knew where I got it from.
Wow.
Lord.
So that's why I asked you, bro, what did that make you feel like? Because as a father, when you're so stuck in the way that you was raised and you're so caught up in your own rhetoric and jurisdiction of the thing that you've been through, how do we not inflict the same trauma on our children, man? How do we not cause the same cycles to happen again? Because I didn't even know I was having the same cycle happen again. It broke me into pieces, man, to know that here I am yelling at my little girl and she truly just didn't hear me. So, bro, like, how do we help younger fathers, bro? How do we help the young man that wasn't fathered? How do we help him deal with his children? How do we, as the men right now on this platform with a little bit more season and a little bit more stake in the game, how do we help the young father who hasn't been fathered to be a good father?
Man, I got to say this. First of all, I just need to affirm you, man. I know this is what you do. This is who you are. But that story, man, and your level of vulnerability, man, is to be commended. That's manhood, fellas. What we saw was the strength of manhood being revealed. It's in our weakness that we become strong. And I just want to shout you out, man, for that story. That connected with that on so many levels. I'll just say this, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
We have to get to a place where family winning as husbands and fathers is the most important thing in our lives. Period.
Yes.
And so if that is the case, just like anything that we want to be successful at, then we will make the effort, Eric, and this is what you were saying earlier, to practice the self-care. This goes right back. And what are we talking about self-care? Well, there are other terms for this in the corporate world. They call it professional development.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call it. I want to be good at this. That's my mindset. My mindset is I want to be good at this. And so if I'm going to be good at something, I need to be humble enough to assume that I don't know what I'm doing. Right? Wow. And so that's where Eric comes in. He's a seasoned brother. I got to get under him. I sit down with him. I take him out for coffee. I take him out for lunch. And I say, listen, can you be my mentor? Can you coach me on how to be? I watch podcasts like this. I download other podcasts. I'm looking at YouTube videos. I'm reading books. I'm surrounding myself with the right people. Why? Because listen, man, come on. When we was playing Madden and when we was on YouTube looking at the cheat codes, trying to figure out how to perfect which plays was the killer plays. Don't tell me brothers won't make themselves students of something that they want to be good at. When we were talking, you know what I'm saying? When cats in the Forex or they're in the stocks or whatever it is, anytime, man, I'm telling you. And sometimes I feel like fellas, that if being a good, that some brothers are trying to be good only at things that will make them look good. And this kind of work that we're talking about is in the dark. It's in the dark, man. It's in the dark.
But no. But also to say what he just said.
What he say?
About what he did?
Oh, yeah.
How did that just make him look?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Like horrible, like the worst father in the world. You ain't nothing. That's the humility you talking about, Myron.
Yeah, but wise brothers like you see that and say, now that's a man right there.
I want to be closer to him.
That's right.
But then you got.
I want to run away from him. I want to be closer to him. But guys who are not wise will run away from you.
Right.
But see, that's what transparency does, gentlemen. True transparency reveals who's really with you. Because true transparency will make people either run or come closer to you.
Yo, listen.
And that's the community, Myron, that you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
That's that community you want.
Hey, hold on. Mic drop. You hear me? Yo.
You know why it's a mic drop? Because when somebody's transparent or vulnerable, it means that somebody is being true to themselves. That's integrity.
All day.
It's identity. I'm being myself. And so many of us have relationships with a bunch of people and they still don't know us. I mean, you've never been yourself around these cats.
Yeah. Yeah. They know what you can do, but they don't know who you are.
Yeah, listen.
They know what you do.
Listen.
Right. They know what you do, but they don't know who you are.
Listen,
that's a whole nother conversation.
You know, I was about to say that's a podcast unto itself right there.
Hey, that's why I'm about to jump in here because, like, listen, if I let this keep going, we're gonna burn the night. Oh, you hear me? Because this conversation gonna keep moving, and I know we got some fire for that conversation right there. So what that just leads me to believe is that, yo, Myron, we gotta have you back on the platform, brother.
Oh man, man. I need to get down. I need to get down to Houston, and I need to get the both. No, you in Houston, and where'd you say you were?
I'm in South Florida. I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
South Florida.
But we can make it happen because planes are like Ubers. We're gonna make it happen.
I travel a lot, and I'm always in both of those places often. So,
we
gotta connect, man. We gotta connect.
Do so. Absolutely. Yeah. So you never know. The next episode, all three of us might actually be live. So that'll be a move, right?
Let's do it.
Before we get up out of here, what I want to do is, Myron, you have a podcast as well, bro, and it speaks to the men as well. So do me a favor and let everybody know about the podcast and where they can subscribe and download it as well, bro. Yeah,
absolutely. To get your shift together, men's podcast. Just check us out on YouTube at It's Myron Live, ITSMYRONLIVE. That's my page. You can find stuff there. Check my website out, MyronEdmonds.com. For all the brothers that's looking for community that we talked about, I run an online virtual men's accountability support community that we've had about 7,000 brothers come through. And I want you to know, man, like if you need the community, we got you. Come through. And we'll help you to start winning in what matters. That's our main premise, to help men to win in what matters the most. So, hey, look, guys, man, it's been a blessing being with you guys. I'm honored, man. I've met some new brothers, and man, look forward to the ongoing.
Marvin, I feel like I've known you forever, bro. Like,
yeah, no, for real.
Yo, we family, dog.
Well, the only problem is, man, I did not see these Zoom things. You like that Zoom with the video virtual spaces. When you said you was 6'6", man, I was like, man, you know, funny just sit there. I put him as like 5'10", 5'11".
You Eric, 5'10". What was that when you was in like 5th grade?
Dude, I can't even remember when I was 5'10". Look, I always slept in the fetal position in the twin bed.
Let those knees hang on.
Yeah, you already know.
Man. So listen, fellas, as always, thank you so much for coming through. Please subscribe and share this information, because it's not just for you, man. It's for the brothers sitting next to you. It's for that dude that you're sitting there kicking the breeze with that don't really know nothing, and he's sitting there trying to build off of you. I'm telling y'all, I've sat in these groups with many and many of my own homies, and we've all just sat around and looked for information. So don't be the one that has it to know about it and not feed your brothers, man. Share this podcast, because I'm telling you, it's going to not help just you, but it'll help your brothers and the men around you, man. So fellas, once again, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Myron, Eric, thank y'all so much for coming through on this platform, bro. Now, fellas, y'all know my motto to the world: you're nothing but a dad. That's all you are. But to your family, you are the world. And don't you ever forget that. But until the next time that we see you, be good to yourself and the ones around you. And if you can't be good to the ones around you, that's all right. Here's a little advice: get those people from around you. Yo, this is RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, and this has been another dope episode of the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. Y'all be blessed, because we will. Peace, Kings.